Hi, my name is Sam Flynn, and today I'll be speaking on the topic of hybrid technologies. What do we think about when we hear the word hybrid technologies? I can tell you what I think. When I hear it, I think of the Toyota Prius. But to be honest, it's a lot more than just that. And being an employee at a dealership, I get first-hand comments and opinions about these cars. I hear all the yays and the nays, the good and the bad, and some people that just don't know about the technology yet and don't care to know. So today I'm choosing to speak on 4 topics about the technology: the hybrids themselves, the market for these vehicles, the pros and the cons, and what we can expect in the future. Alright, let's begin. Where did this technology come from? Hybrid technology has been around for 60 to 70 years. Hybrid technology it's been around for generations. It can be spotted all the way back from 1839 when Robert Anderson, a man from Scotland, built the first electric-powered vehicle. This started a trend for inventors to try to experiment and build technology and vehicles like this, but most of them came out as failed projects because they were either not powerful enough, they were too slow, or most of them were just unsafe. It wasn't until 1989 when Audi created the Duo. It had a 12.6 horsepower engine that drove the rear wheels, while the front was still powered by a flat 5-cylinder engine that was good for 136 horsepower. Even though this car didn't get much attention from the public and people weren't so sure about it, Audi continued and pushed it the next year for a second generation. It wasn't really until 1999 when Honda Motor Corp released its Honda Insight, which was a two-bore hybrid vehicle which boasted the ability to get 60 to 70 miles per gallon. And in the following year, Toyota released its much-anticipated Toyota Prius, which went on to win multiple awards from auto critics and magazines alike, and still produced today, so it's found much success in our market. Now for the technology. What exactly are we talking about here? There's a couple different technology that these cars use to be considered hybrid technologies, but first I'd like to begin by explaining that hybrid technology is when a vehicle utilizes another source other than its engine to power the car. The first of these popular hybrid technologies is regenerating brakes. It's as simple as it sounds. It can be found in the vehicle when it's using the friction from the brakes to regenerate the battery, thus giving it power. The second popular use of hybrid technology is the automatic start and shut off. Here the engine starts and shuts off when you come to a light. Hold on. This keeps from wasting energy at lights or when you're in heavy traffic and your car's not really moving. The other technology, and the final one that I'm going to talk about, we commonly see is the electric motor drive assist. Here the electric motor helps the engine and it supports the combustion engine while the vehicle is moving, accelerating, going up a hill. In certain vehicles like the Toyota Prius, vehicles can utilize the electric engine to power the engines in lower gears, and you completely rely on the electric engine where a combustion engine would be less impractical and wasteful. Continuing with these markets of the hybrids, the most popular car in the market is the Toyota Prius. It has 50.2% of the total hybrid sales in the last decade, more than half than anyone else. Other top hybrid brands include the Toyota Camry, another sister car to the Prius. The Honda Civic is another big one. The sales improvements of hybrids are still continuing year after year. They grab more and more of the new car sales every year. In 2012, 3% of the new cars sold were hybrids. Doesn't sound like a big number, but that's up from 2.1% the year before. Car makers continue to jump aboard the hybrid technology. The latest manufacturer additions include the Ford with their quickly emerging hybrid Fusion, which sold 24,000 units last year, and the Chevy Malibu hybrid, which sold 38,000 since 2008. As we move on, I want to talk about the pros and the cons to this hybrid technology and what some people might find the good in them, and a lot of people see that there's the bad in them and refuse to buy them. Consumer Energy reports that the average hybrid will get 46 miles per gallon compared to 21 miles per gallon in a normal vehicle. That's more than double the miles. But on top of that, the average owner will save $11,000 in gas over 10 years. With this, clean energy becomes a more useful vehicle, releasing less exhaust. With the aid of a second electric engine, another big advantage of owning a hybrid is a tax deduction that you might get from the U.S. government. It depends on the year and the time, but most commonly you can receive a $2,000 tax cut at the end of the year, or maybe even up to $3,400 if the government, with certain government vehicle incentives. As good as these advantages sound, there's also some cons, as that goes with everything. And one of the cons is the price of the vehicles can get quite expensive. The average hybrid runs from $22,000 to $50,000, and consumers have to juggle between whether or not the gas savings are going to make up for this price hike in the future. And another disadvantage of the hybrid technology is the more expensive you have equipment in the car, that means the more expensive it's going to be to do maintenance on the vehicle. So some people see that the service might outweigh the savings of the gas. And with all these things in mind, we're going to look forward to the future, and there's a couple different future technologies that hybrid producers are looking at. A couple of these concepts include hydrogen to power vehicles, hydraulic hybrids, which would store energy in the hydraulic fluids, and they're still actually just working on the hybrids themselves right now, improving the technology that they have out right now. Continuing, they might use bigger batteries for better performance, and start to use more weight reductions with the use of carbon fiber. In conclusion, looking at the hybrids and where they've come from and where they're going, I hope I've given you better knowledge about these vehicles and their place in the auto industry. And I hope you found this information useful, and you find it useful in the future purchase of a vehicle. Thank you for your time.